What's going on, everybody? John Caniford, JJDJ Entertainment. So, if you see this screen right here, you notice that it is a brand new version 7 of Chauvet Showxpress. I actually had some groups here because if you guys caught the video yesterday, I recorded an introduction and a walkthrough of the fixtures section, and I didn't record the mic. So this time I know the mic's recording, so we're good. You guys don't have a silent film from me. So I want to go over kind of an overview of what Showxpress 7 has, as well as kind of go over the fixture tab. So unlike version 6, where you would have a pop-up window and then you would select whether you want to go to your fixtures editor, pixels, live, or settings. I forget exactly what the 5 or 6 buttons were on the V6. But on version 7, they've kind of streamlined everything into one window. And up top, you have 4 main sections. You have editor, pixel, live, and standalone. And under each of those categories, you kind of have subcategories. So inside editor, you have fixtures, steps, and generator. Pixels just kind of has its own little pixel setup. I haven't messed with pixels at all. So we're hoping to get some pixel fixtures in to kind of start playing around with this and hopefully have something for you guys, and also start, going in personally into the pixel realm of lighting. Live section, which of course is your live page. You can actually have two. It says buttons, but two what I consider pages. But so if you go up here, and you can't see this on your screen, but if you go into, actually it's right here, these 3 lines on the left hand side, and go to settings, you can enable a second tab, and you can select how many boards, or aka pages to me, you want. So this first tab, which says buttons 1, I'm gonna put 8 boards, and on the second tab, I'll just put 4. And let me go ahead and hit apply, and there you go. So I have buttons 1, buttons 2, and also there's another one in here. I don't know if you guys may have caught. It's called a child window, and essentially the child window is an external pop-up window that you can put into an external monitor or a second display that might be a touchscreen. So I'm going to turn that guy off because I'm not going to be needing that, and I don't need it popping up every time I go to it. So I kind of want to just kind of go through with you guys the fixture tab here on adding new fixtures and kind of explain some things here in the layout. So adding new fixtures is fairly simple. You're just going to go here to this tab, and you're going to add new fixtures. You click it, and this window pops up. From here, you can use some of the pre-designed profiles that they have, generously given us. You can import a fixture. So if, for example, if myself or Storm or one of the other members on the Chauvet Showxpress group on Facebook made a profile for a certain fixture that's brand new, or has a profile they made for you, you can import a fixture that way. I also use import because I've noticed some of the profiles I've made in the past don't show up on this left-hand side bank. So what I'll do is I'll go to import a fixture, and I'll search for the fixture in the one of my old Showxpress files and find it, and then I'm good to go. You can create your own fixture if you wanted to by clicking the create, and that's really something maybe, if I think I've covered this in the past, but I can do another video by request on how to create fixtures. So let's go ahead in here and let's add a new fixture. Let me just go ahead and let's see, who makes the Mac 101s? Martin, isn't it? Let me act like I have money here for a second and go by and add some Mac 101s in here. Okay. So once you click on the fixture, I believe you can just double click. Actually, no, you can't. Okay. So once you click on the fixture, since this is the first fixture, it automatically is going to assign it to fixture 1. You have the option down here to assign this to a specific DMX channel. Let's say you go into a venue and you're going to work off their fixtures there, and you got to kind of build a profile from scratch, and their fixtures already mounted and addressed. you can go in and kind of set the proper addresses for them. Or another, reason you would use is, let's say, you don't want to put your mover heads on the first 100 channels because you're going to leave the first 100 channels for uplighting or park hands or something else. You can pick your own DMX channel. Another example of why you would want to use this, and I'll show you in a second. So let's go ahead and add 2 fixtures. And you'll see that this takes channels 1 through 24. Now, I believe each fixture takes 12 channels. So it's occupying channels 1 through 12 and 13 through 24. Let me go ahead and patch it, and you'll see how we have 2 fixtures. Now, an example on why you would want to possibly specify another DMX channel. Let me go ahead and say, let me add something else in here real quick. Let's say I have some Mac 250s. And let's say I know down the road I'm going to buy 2 more Mac 101s. And doing so, I want the Mac 101s to all be in the same DMX address line. Meaning they're consecutive. So 1 through 12 is the first one, 13 through 24 is the second one, 25 through 36 is the third, and 37 through 48 is the fourth. Now, first off, I need thumbs up for my math on the fly because I am impressed. Give me a thumbs down if I did not do that math right. But so let's say I know I'm going to add 2 more in down the road. And I know that the last one would end on 48. And so I can essentially start these Mac 250s on 49. And that way, when I add those 2 more additional fixtures in, they're already, I left space in my DMX chain for it. That's the only reason I could think of why you would want to do that. So that's really just how that works. Another thing you have in this is you can right click on here and duplicate the fixture, meaning you can add in those 2 additional fixtures that you've bought. Or, let's see, what did I do here? Duplicate. I don't know why. I thought I hit 2. I guess I'll go back on the video and take a look. So you can right click and do duplicate fixtures, and that allows you to duplicate the fixture you have selected. Or you can clone the fixture, meaning they're going to have the same DMX address. Now, there's really no point on cloning a fixture just for the purpose of if you're not going to use 3D. Now, if you're going to use 3D, and let's say you have, for example, our uplights, 90% of the time, they're all on the same DMX address. And let's say I want to use 3D to show a client what the room would look like. I don't want to just have one uplight on my 3D visualizer. I want to be able to show them, the 30 uplights that we have. So I can clone that fixture 30 times, and in 3D, I'll have 30 fixtures, but really they're all on the same DMX address. The ArtNet IP I have not gotten into. The pixel fixtures that we're eyeballing does allow ArtNet, so I might be getting into this, so I might be able to give you guys some tutorials on that. And the last one is remove fixtures. Now there's some features in here as well that I've noticed are actually one of the other Showxpress users pointed out, and I don't recall if version 6 had this, and I've never used these features until now. It has a reverse pan and reverse tilt. So let's think about it as if you had totems, and you had 2 totems that would normally set to your left and right from you while you're on stage. And let's say those totems now are moved. Or better yet, let's say you programmed those totems to go to just cover the dance floor. And let's say when you put the totems in, you put them in backwards by accident, meaning they're flipped 180 degrees from how they normally set on top of the totem. Well, you notice too late, you don't have time to flip the whole totem or fixture around. What you can do, you can go in here and reverse the pan. So meaning that all your shows that you've created where it would normally sweep from the front to left, it'll now reverse the pan, so it'll reverse it so it sweeps from the back left to right. I hope that analogy makes sense. Another example is, let's say you have two totems, and traditionally they're going to cover the dance floor right in front of you, but now you've set the totems up at the back side of the dance floor. And you don't want those lights sweeping the back of the room. You want those lights flipped so they're covering the dance floor. You can reverse the pan or reverse the tilt so that it fits the scenes that you have already created and you want to use it for. We've ran into the scenario where I pre-programmed a bunch of movements for a rig that was over top of the crowd, and I didn't think about that when we hung the lights, that they all need to be facing a certain orientation for it to work. So when the rig got up in the air, half of the lights were in the direction that I wanted them to go. The other half are going in the wrong direction. So instead of lowering the whole rig down and then flipping the lights around or rotating the lights, I was easily able to go in here and reverse the pan and reverse the tilt. I believe some lights have this feature built in where you can reverse the pan and tilt remotely via DMX. But the lights that we have had, I don't believe they have had that feature. But it's just nice that it's in there now. I'm sorry that I'm rambling a bit. But it's nice that that feature is there, so you can easily reverse the pan, which will give you the X, since the pan is the X axis. And if you reverse the tilt, it'll give you Y, which is the Y axis. And of course, you can tell which fixtures are reversed. The pan and tilt reversed by the X and the Y, as well as if you right click on them, you can see the pan and tilt there. I believe also you can adjust the pan and tilt by these two buttons here. Yes. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you can also adjust the pan and tilt by using these arrows here. And for the longest time, I don't know why, I couldn't remember which way was pan and which way was tilt. And if you were like me and struggle with this as you're learning or getting into DMXing, these arrows kind of are good indicator. Pan is your left to right movement, and tilt is up and down. So the other options you have up here as well, you have the edit button as well as the rename button. So let's say you wanted to rename this fixture. Now this doesn't affect the fixtures themselves, but it just allows you to name your fixtures for your ability to recall what exactly they were. So let's say this fixture here is going to be on my totem left. So I'll leave Mac 101 because I want to be able to see what it is. And I'll say totem left. And then maybe I'll make this one totem right. And so you have that ability there. Now, one thing about this is, let's say down the road I'm going to add in a couple more Mac 101s. I have the ability to take this Mac 250 and moving it and dropping it into, maybe let's say starting at 200. Now, when you move that, it does not, let me repeat, it does not redo those scenes that you may have already created for the Mac 250. So that to me is kind of a huge black eye for Showxpress, and other lighting programs like CompuShow does have that ability. So this has always been something that's bothered me about Showxpress. But again, it's everyone's preference. I really don't know how to really defend Showxpress on this one. It's kind of silly that it doesn't. I wish their software was more in-depth and was able to do that for us, but unfortunately it does not. I've heard rumors that maybe in a future release in version 8, which I think is in alpha testing right now as of May 4th, may have that feature, but as of current it does not. But if you were to go ahead and move that Mac 250 down here to 200, you can add in more Mac 101s into this first section of your DMX chain. But I've noticed that I've accidentally moved fixtures. Our techs have moved fixtures around, and they didn't mean to. and we would have to be like, crap, where, they drag and move a couple of them around, and we would, when you have a full screen of, 500 some fixtures and they get bumped out of place, trying to remember which fixture went where could be very tedious. So they've created this nice lock button up here in the corner, which essentially allows you to lock out the screen so fixtures can't be moved accidentally. Now, while I was recording the first video for this that did not have the mic on, I've learned a new feature. Now, recently when we would have a tech or have myself call out the DMX channels while the techs by the fixtures would set the channels. I always have to say, okay, Mac 101, first one is going to be 1. And I would know by looking in the block in the top left-hand corner of each block what the number was. And why is this showing up as X? I guess that was a duplicate fixture. I knew I hit 2 fixtures. Remember earlier in the video where I said I thought I hit 2? That's what it was. It put it on top of it. I don't know why it would have done that, but let me just fix this. I'm sorry, guys. This video is turning out to be a little confusing. Okay, so I found this feature, and it's this little icon right here in the corner. And what it does is it gives you a list of all your fixtures, the universe they're in, as well as the address, the fixture name, or the fixture type, and then the name that you have given it. So if you rename that fixture, let's say you didn't leave Mac 101 in there, and you renamed it, Totem Left. Let's say your shows are very similar from show to show. You said Totem Left, and this one was Totem Right. It takes away the title Mac 101 out of here. But by this breakdown, let me make this Totem Right, sorry. From this breakdown sheet right here, you still know that it's a Mac 101 fixture, even though you named it Totem Left. So you have that ability to do that, but it's also nice that it gives you a printout, so you can print this and hand it to your techs, and you can make your notes on here. You can add in notes additional to this, like make note of lamp hours, I don't know. Or you could say, make sure it's in, maybe this one, we'll say, confirm in, I don't know, it has a 7-channel mode. Confirm in 7-channel mode. So you can make all these notes in here, essentially save this, and print it out for your techs. And I don't know for sure, if I save this on a computer, if when I recall this, if it'll be the same. Let me see if those notes stay. No, so the notes disappear. But you can make your notes, you can save it into like a Dropbox folder or whatever it may be, and you can print it off and you give it to your techs, and or you even just print it off so you could carry it with you as you program all your lights on your rig and not have to run back and forth or do what I do and take photos of the screen. So that's kind of a nice thing to have. And again, it also has your universes. Fortunately, we've been able to stay within one universe. But for some of you guys that have multiple universes, it's nice to know that it'll break it down for you as well. So that's the fixture tab. One thing I always do when I'm working with the fixtures, and let me go in here and add a fixture in here that I know has a color wheel. Let's go to a Chauvet. Maybe, there we go. So we have Q spots. I guess maybe the Q spots are under pros. Okay, am I going crazy, guys, or did I miss Q spot completely? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, yeah. So they're not in here. That's really weird. Why are the Q spots not in here? Okay. Well, then I know the American DJ 5R has a color wheel, and you'll see here in a second why I'm looking for a fixture with a color wheel. The Visi Spot 5R. Okay. let's go ahead and add one of these in. So sometimes the profiles are built correctly, sometimes they are not. And first off, I always like to make sure once I go in here and open, and all I did there was double click, but you can also right click and click edit fixture. I like to go in here and make sure all my colors are listed out correctly. And the reason being is because if I'm programming while I'm on the road, or if I don't have the manual handy for the fixture, I like to be able to go in 3D and be able to select the colors that I know are the correct color and be able to visually see that beam color on 3D. Or even if I'm not even using 3D and I'm trying to program some light scenes, again, without the fixture set up, it's nice to know that, you know, this channel 52 is definitely dark blue. And 67 just doesn't say color 4, it says 67 is in fact a yellow. So I try to make sure I go through and do these for all the fixtures that have a color wheel or have some sort of color palette or have certain things that I know that I'm going to want to recall, and I want to prepare myself so if I don't have that individual fixtures manual with me, that I can know that I'm doing the correct thing. Same thing for the shutter. I always make sure I have what the position is for the closed shutter, the open shutter, the strobes, as well as, you know, any other things. Another real good one to do, and I didn't start doing this until last year because I got caught in a position where if I would have had this, I could have saved, you know, part of my show. And what happened was one of our fixtures got jammed up. And if you're not able to reach a fixture with it being on a totem or something that's easily accessible, getting to a fixture when it's 30 feet up in the air and there's people already in the venue, you can't just get to that fixture quick, and you can't just bring out the sigil lift to reset a fixture. If you have a control channel or a reserve channel that has stuff like the reset motors, reset XY, reset the color wheel, reset the global wheel, or even just a complete reset, definitely put those into your profile or make sure they're in your profile, because somewhere down the road it may save your butt. And even if you never use it, it's good practice just to have it. And also, if you're using a fixture that has a discharge lamp, having your lamp on and lamp off control is extremely nice to have too. Because again, if the fixture's up in the air and you get done and you have 3 hours to spare, it's nice just to turn that lamp off and not be, you know, utilizing the lamp and it's just sitting there and idle, you know, just heating up the fixture. So I make sure I have a lamp off for all of our discharge lights. And I also make sure that, you know, my crew knows as well that as soon as the event's over, go ahead and lamp off if you're able to, if those lights aren't dependent on the guest leaving. But once you're beginning to tear down, I make sure that the lamps are turned off, and I wait at least 15 minutes before we kill power to those lights so they have a chance for that bulb to properly cool down. You can go in here as well, and if you have the fixture, sometimes I'll go to the website, get a picture of that particular fixture, and I'll go ahead and load it in. So when I see it on the editor menu over here, I can visually see the fixture, and I just don't have these generic fixture icons. And if for some reason you have, sorry, my voice is crackling here. Hold on one second, guys. Good old Dr. Pepper just to get the vocal cords lubricated a little bit. If your fixture's not showing up in 3D, more than likely it's selected here, not in 3D view. So you can go in here and select whether it's a moving head or the correct type of fixture for the fixture you're working with. And because I'm a little bit OCD and I like to make sure everything matches, I'll go in here and make sure the beam aperture is correct, the pan and tilt is correct, and that's it. So there's one more thing I was going to actually bring up that I thought that was really important to make sure we do. We talked about the sub channels. I'm at a loss for it. I can't think what it is. So I make sure we have those individual things for the colors. The gobo, sometimes I'll go in here and, it'll say miscellaneous gobo. I'll go, if I know it's a star gobo or if I know it's a custom gobo, like the Q spots they have interchangeable gobos. And I know the last slot, the 8th slot, I believe it is, we've put our company icon in those. So I'll either say custom slot or I'll say icon. So just so when I'm programming, I can recall quickly what gobo that I'm working with. I may not be able to see it in 3D. Some of them you've been able to in the past. I don't know if version 7 allows that. But it's good to, again, have something on there as detailed as possible. So when you're programming without the fixtures out, and as fun as it used to be when I was younger to set up all my fixtures and program everything beforehand, it's just not feasible now at the level we're at. And sometimes I bring out one or two and just kind of get some of the orientations and color wheels and everything all programmed and just confirm that they are what they say they are in the manual. But a lot of times we just can't do that now with some of our setups. So it's nice to be able to put stuff in 3D and be used to working with 3D. And one of the things I'll do down the road is I'll do a video on how to set up 3D to work with your different setups. The other thing I was going to mention, and it's kind of irrelevant to this actual application, is use a program like Dropbox and create a folder in there for your lighting fixtures and go download every manual for every fixture that you own. And there's so many times that has come in handy, whether I'm running DMX or if I'm putting them in standalone or sound active mode, where the light wasn't doing what it's supposed to, and we were in a venue that we either didn't have Wi-Fi to connect into, or a laptop wasn't readily available, and I was able to open my phone up, pull up Dropbox, and I had the PDF already saved, ready to go. I didn't have to go browsing the web looking for it, and then trying to hopefully find the PDF, in a timely manner. I had all of them saved in my Dropbox. So that's a really good piece of advice that you guys can do to just kind of be more prepared for whatever the situation may be. So that's it for editor, at least for the fixtures section. The next video will go over steps, as well as maybe jumping into generator. But for right now, this video is just kind of show you an overview of Showxpress version 7 and kind of get you oriented with your fixtures.